Hi, my name is Melita, and today we're going to talk about virtual lead generation. Hi, my name is Melita, and today we're going to talk about virtual lead generation. So, what does that mean? That means today we're going to talk about how to meet potential new customers, hostesses, and team members for your direct sales business online. So, how exactly do you build and find new customers, new hostesses, and new team members online without coming across spammy like a spammy Tammy, and without feeling icky about the whole thing? I want to remind everybody that the way that you're going to have a long term business is you need to learn to master the art of meeting people. Now, in the traditional world of working in person in direct sales, I learned how to prospect for new leads at a fair or festival or some type of booth to meet new people, maybe have people register to be in a drawing for a giveaway. I learned how to hand out a
Here you
business
go.
card
It was great
and get a
meeting
name and
you.
number back. These are the things that I had to master in the traditional way of working my business in order to expand past my family and friends. Working only with family and friends can quickly handicap your business. How many of you have ever noticed that there are certain entrepreneurial people in your Facebook friends list that seems to always be constantly selling something? And they also are constantly changing what they are selling. They change their company, they change the product. It seems like every 6 months. So this week, they're maybe selling makeup and skincare for one company, and then 6 months later, they're selling candles for another. And 6 months later, they're selling vitamins. And 6 months later, they're selling whatever is the hottest, newest, trendiest thing that's going on. And you're wondering, why are they jumping from company to company? And honestly, the reason is because they have went through their hot market. They went through their friends and their family and their coworkers, people they go to church with, and people that they know just out and about. And if they're selling candles, all of a sudden, their friends and family and coworkers and customers are so full of candles that they don't need another candle. So they think, I guess my customers, my friends, my family, they're just not interested in candles anymore. Let me try to sell them something different. So they switch to another company. And because they think that their friends and family are not interested in what they originally started with, and they're not getting the response that they want from those same people. So they keep switching from company to company to company, going back to the same people, expecting the same people to support them in their latest business venture. You know what? That comes under the heading of who wants to be connected to that type of friend or family member? Someone who every time she sees me, she's in a different company trying to sell me something. If you talk to people who've been with a specific company for a very long time, you realize they may have started with their friends and family, but very quickly they mastered how to meet new people and how to expand their customer base. You see, here's the one thing I want to assure you: you are in the right industry. Direct sales is such a great way to add extra money to your family's budget each month. But to do so, you must master the art of lead generation. You must learn how to meet new people and how to connect with those people. So today, I want to share how you can connect to new people through social media, specifically Facebook. And we're going to talk about something called warm chatter. In the company that I am with, in the traditional world, we learned how to do warm chatter. What would we do? We just strike up a conversation. We'd be in the elevator with someone, we'd be sitting at a doctor's office, we'd be waiting in line at checkout, and we would just strike up a conversation. And somehow we would steer that conversation into a business conversation. Maybe we would name drop the products that we sold or our company name, and then we'd be in a conversation about it. And then we'd say something like, hey, give me your name and your number, and I'll give you a quick call and we'll set something up. So in the Facebook world, it's basically the same thing. I call it virtual warm chattering. And what does that mean? That means that there are people sitting in your Facebook friends list right now that at some point you connected to. You may not even remember how. And they could have sent you a friend request because they were a friend of a friend. And you just thought, hey, she likes her, so I'll send her a friend request and see. You'll accept my friend request, and there may be people in there you don't even know. And so let's talk about the people that are kind of what I call your lukewarm connections. They come under the heading of people you went to school with, people that, let's say you're in your 50s, you're in your 40s, whatever age, and you haven't even talked to these people since you were in high school. But because you went to high school with them or junior high, went to elementary school or wherever, or they lived in your hometown, you accepted them as a friend. Maybe you were even the person who sent the friend request just because you were curious to see what's going on in their world so many years later. Or maybe you have people from your first job in that list, or you have connections from your first marriage if you've been married multiple times, or from the first church that you went to. There's lots of different ways that we connect with people. Sometimes our children have great friends, and then before you know it, we are Facebook friends with their parents because of just that connection. And then years go by, and they're still in there, but you're really not connecting to them at all. They're just there, and they feel the same about you. You're just in their friends list. So, how do you warm past connections up? I have found that the best way to warm up those relations that are sitting in your Facebook friends is to simply make a decision to comment. Yeah, that's just right. Just comment. Select 10 people to start with. So let's just say on Monday, you go through your Facebook friends and you find 10 people that you haven't spoken to or connected to, and maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but they're in your Facebook friends group. And so you just find those 10 people and then you pull up their profile and you look and you're like, wow, that's a cute picture. So comment on their profile picture. Do a love emoji to the profile or their banner picture that they have selected, that they have on their Facebook profile page. Because guess what, guys? The fact that they have that picture as their profile and as their banner picture means that it's a picture they really like and they feel it's a good picture. So, I mean, when you like it or love it, and when you comment on a picture that that they picked out about themselves in the banner that they've selected, what happens is they feel flattered that you kind of are agreeing with them that it was a cool picture, right? Also, I would comment on a few of their posts each day for 3 days. So, like, I would do it on Monday, and then I go back in and pull up their profile and comment on Thursday, and then again on Monday. I would go in, I would pick out three of their posts, three of their most recent posts, their profile pic, whatever, and I would comment. And I'd also use the love emoji, not just the like emoji, but use the love button. Maybe they posted a piece of pie. Comment on it. Say something like, that looks like yum. Did you bake it? Do you have the recipe? Or where did you buy it? Maybe they have a picture of a very cute puppy. Put the love emoji and then ask questions on the profile pics, that kind of thing. A lot of times you're just saying, beautiful, you look amazing, I love your smile, what a great family picture. And then in the actual comments, you go in and ask a question. If they're showing a picture of their puppy, then go in and say, wow, beautiful dog. What breed is it? Or, they're showing a picture of themselves dressed up in an outfit of some sort. Just say, gorgeous outfit. Where did you get it? As you ask a question that moves them to comment back and forth and answer you, because that starts the conversation. It's a warm chatter. You're doing it virtually. And what I find is if I do that for different days, a few different days, I would, pick out those 10 people. Again, I would do comments on all 10 people's profile on Monday. And then I would do it again on Thursday. And then I would do it again on Monday. What seems to happen is they start talking back to me. They start going up to my profile and they start making comments, which is really awesome because then I could comment back to them and they have liked or loved or commented on my profile. Sometimes they'll even send me a private message and say, my gosh, I got this puppy at wherever. Here's where you can buy one. I got whatever your question is. They'll start a conversation with you. And so the really cool part about that is that you've warmed up that relationship. You've just, as they say, warm chatted. You started a conversation, you warmed it up, and you warmed up that relationship. You got them connecting to you. And now I'm going to comment on the following Monday. So I've commented on Monday, I've commented on Thursdays, I've commented on the following Monday. After I've commented on Monday, I may send them a private message that just says, "Hey, your profile has been coming up in my Facebook feed, and I'm curious, what have you been into lately?" If they respond, now is when you comment on what you're doing. And now you can share what you've been doing with the company that you are with. Now you can take that conversation from there. Now, if you keep commenting and they're not responding, you can still send the message. You may not get the same response as someone who's been responding back and forth to you, but it's no different than handing my business card to someone, and that person may have someone who says, "No, no, no, I'm just not interested." And so you're going to have that too. You're going to have people who don't respond to you. You're going to have people who may even schedule something and cancel it with you. And that's no different than the traditional world. It's just that I don't have to go outside my house to hand out a card or to stand at a booth. I could just simply connect with people from my past and reach out. I can just have a warm conversation with those people and reconnect. Now, what do you do if you have went through all of your people from your past and you just have nobody else on there? Maybe you're one of those people that only have 66 Facebook friends. And so it doesn't take long to go through those people, right? All right, hold up. I'm going to go back for a minute and talk about the Monday, Thursday, Monday. So on Monday, you would do 10, comment on 10 different people's Facebook pages, all right, Facebook profiles. You would do it Monday, Thursday, Monday, and then you would send them a message. Hey, what have you been into? Then you do another 10 on Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday. And then you do another 10 on Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, and then message. By doing that, you'll go through about 30 people a week. Out of that, you'll probably get around anywhere from 5 to 10 bookings or new appointments. That's a norm, right? Okay, so now, of course, the warmer the connection is, in other words, if someone that you have commented on and you see once or twice a year, you're going to get a different response than someone you haven't seen for 40 years, okay? Or however long, because it may just take a little bit more effort to warm it up. But just reach out and ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? Now, what happens if you go through all of your Facebook friends and you have, uh, you know, touch base with everybody? Simply send out a few friend requests to whom you may ask, well, friends of your friends. Facebook actually promotes this by suggesting people that you might know to be friends with. So, send out 10 friend requests a day. And you can tell by their profile if they seem like they would be friendly. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And if you think that she's friendly, and when I say friendly, I mean she has a smile on her face. Her posts are not distasteful, they're not argumentative, they're not hateful. Maybe she looks like she might be interested in what your company has to offer. If you're a cosmetic company with skincare, it looks like she uses makeup and skincare, right? She looks like she enjoys that from the pictures that you see of her. If you sell cookware, maybe she's showing off her cooking skills or showing the cookies she just made. If you sell health products, her profile may be showing her walking or working out. And if she's a friend of your friend, then just send her a friend request. She can choose whether she accepts it or not, but just send her a friend request, right? Okay. So, what happens when you're constantly bringing in new Facebook friends who are now watching what you're posting and they're seeing that you're communicating with their friends? And so, just by doing that, the relationship becomes a little bit more warm. It's warming up simply because they know that you are connected to one of their friends. Now, I don't become concerned whether they say yes, no, or accept my friend request or not. I don't become concerned with it. I kind of treat that like the whole process of like planting tulip bulbs. No, in the fall, we plant tulip bulbs, right? And in the spring, we celebrate what grows and what blooms. But we don't go back and try to count and find every tulip bulb that didn't bloom. No, some tulip bulbs will be whisked away by a little critter, a critter or creature. Okay, trying to get the country on my voice. The little creature that decided that it looked like a nut and took it, or that it got too wet, or that it got too cold, or it just didn't bloom. We don't go back and try to figure out what happens. We just celebrate the tulip bulbs that bloomed. You know, we don't try to figure out why that bulb not blooming. and say to ourselves, what could we do to get better? What could we do different? What could I say? What would make that tulip bulb bloom? No, what we do is we're like, wow, look how pretty the tulips are that actually bloomed. And we don't necessarily count every single bulb we uh, planted. We simply celebrate those that are beautiful in the spring. And then next fall, we plant more tulip bulbs, right? Or flowers or whatever. And so I kind of treat it the same way. There are some days that I will send out messages. I'll do that whole commenting thing, and then I'll send out messages. And then the next day, I'll do the whole thing and send out messages. And I may not even get a response for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 days because everybody doesn't check their Facebook Messenger every day, guys. Everybody doesn't check their Messenger every week. I've had people who reached back out to me because they just opened up a message that I sent 6 months ago and they sent me a message back. And they'll say, hey, I apologize. I just saw your message. And if you're that person that's always on top of your messages, you just can't imagine that. But that's just kind of how it is. So you kind of blindly just make the comments and send the message, make the comments and send the message, make the comments and send the message. And some days you'll get nothing, and other days you'll get one, and other days you'll get like 6 or 7 or 8 all of a sudden because multiple people from the past started opening up their messages. Just focus on the consistency of virtually warm chattering each day and not worry about whether they respond that day or not. And if they want to connect to you or not, you just go next, 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 next. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, you got to clean up your Facebook profile. If you are going to work virtually, and if you're going to basically work anywhere today, or hand out your business card in today's world of social media, here's one of the things that people will do as soon as they meet you. That person is going to look you up on Facebook. She's going to look you up on Instagram. She's going to look you up on TikTok, and she's going to look you up. And if she sees that you're a crazy partier, if she sees that you're very negative, if she sees you're very opinionated about controversial subjects and she doesn't agree with you, then she's not going to want to work with you or connect with you. Now, I will tell you from my perspective, I don't post lots of stuff on Facebook that I wouldn't want the whole world to see. I do positive things. I might post every great once in a while, like once every 2 or 3 months, and then something all of a sudden I post lots of fun, positive things. And about every 2 or 3 months, I might post a picture of my product or something about my company that I want to brag about, maybe they raise money for a charity and I want people to know what they do. But I don't look like I'm obsessed with my company. What I post are positive things, uplifting things. That's what I post. I don't have tons of stuff on my Facebook. And I would encourage you that if you're going to start handing out business cards, promoting your business on social media, be sure to be aware of posts that aren't friendly towards building a business. Do not alienate potential customers and team members with controversial postings. Now, if you found this video helpful, please do me a favor. Just click the button below, subscribe, maybe click the little bell so you get notifications every time I post a post, because my goal is to post new videos each and every week that can benefit your direct sales business. And be sure to like it and maybe share it with a direct sales buddy. And without any further information except that, don't overlook all of the treasure that is hiding in your Facebook friend list. Go through and warm those conversations up today. Have a great direct sales day. You got this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.